Women dump men for being boring. So I've heard this before, but today I saw one of my friends, Eric Cork, post a question about, you know, is there a woman who will admit she let a good man get away? And then his comment after that question mentioned the idea that some women dump boring men for bad boys. Now, I think that there's several problems with this whole line of questioning and line of thought. Number one, just because somebody thinks they're good doesn't mean that they are good. And there are a lot of people who claim to be good, but if you look at how they treat other people, if you look at their attitudes, if you look at their habits, there's not really much good about them. I mean, they are measuring themselves up against the worst of the worst. Yes, if you measure yourself up against, someone who is actively doing criminal things to people, that could get them locked up for many years or for life, and you're not doing those criminal things, then you could consider yourself a quote good person. But the standard shouldn't be, how do I stand up against the worst of the worst? That should not be the standard. You can't say just because I don't beat my girlfriends, I'm a good man. And that is what some men think, because that is their standard. Just because I don't cheat on my girlfriend, I'm a good man. Those are two very destructive, very bad things, and it's great that you don't do them. But what do you do that makes you a good man? Not what you don't do. It's not what you don't do that makes you good. It's what you do that makes you good. So are you a good communicator? Are you concerned about her? Do you want to get to know her? Or are you guilty of other things that could be just as detrimental to a relationship, like being a user, like being disrespectful, like caring about nobody but yourself and being extremely selfish? Those are things that would not make you a good man or a good partner. So, what is your standard of good? So, that's one thing. The other thing is this idea of boring. Now, I have seen men sometimes draw this parallel, which is called either or thinking. If the woman doesn't want the quote nice guy or the quote good guy, then she must want the quote bad boy. There's not just two options in the world. First, I've already explained that some men that call themselves good aren't, and some men that call themselves nice aren't. They aren't kind. They're simply wearing an act, doing what they feel they have to do to get her attention, to get her to go on a date, to get her number, to get her into bed. But as soon as she gives in to what he wants, the real him comes out. And so he wasn't nice or good at all. He was a manipulator. And it wasn't that she wasn't interested in him because he wasn't good or nice. It was when she found out he was a manipulator, then she didn't want to deal with a manipulator. She wanted the person that she actually thought he was, which was not who he really was. So there's that. But again, there's many possibilities in terms of types of people. There's not just good guy, nice guy, bad boy. That's not the way the world works. And every person that's out there probably has a slightly different version of what they're looking for with slightly different priorities. So if you don't meet her priorities or she doesn't meet yours, then you're not compatible for each other. Now, let's go with this idea of boring. Sometimes I believe that people treat words like they did when they were kids. When you were a kid, boring was a word that you use sometimes, or I'm going to say boring is a word that a lot of kids use because maybe you didn't use it. But it's a word that a lot of kids use when they want to get something out of their parents. I am bored. And you want your parents to play with you, or you want your parents to offer you some kind of attention, or you want them to, go and basically you're trying to get a behavior out of somebody by using that word, by trying to make that person jump through hoops so you won't be bored. Now, some of us that grew up in the 70s, if we use that word, I'm bored, or this is boring, we wouldn't got that response. We would have probably been told, like my grandmother told me, oh, you're bored? Oh, I got plenty of work that needs to be done. And she sent me out to, weed her whole garden for the next half of the day. And I came back with an aching back and aching fingers and, you know, absolutely certain I would never use that word again. So when you think about boring in that sense, yeah, it sounds extremely childish. It sounds like, hey, you're just being lazy and you're not thinking about what you could do to entertain yourself. You're not looking at all of the options that you have. You're not picking up a book or going outside to play or, watching something on TV or looking at a game or whatever. I mean, there's 50 million things that people could do to not be bored, right? But I'm going to go even deeper. Sometimes I believe that men use the word boring because they're minimizing what she really said. She might have said, our relationship is stuck in a rut. She might have said, you don't put any effort into the relationship anymore. We don't ever do anything. We're not growing as a couple. You're not growing as a person. I'm trying to grow. I'm trying to do all these personal development things. I'm trying to be the best person I can be. And you're the same person that you were when I met you. And it doesn't seem like we have anything in common anymore. And he boils that down to, she thinks I'm boring. When really what she said was a whole lot deeper, a whole lot more meaningful, a whole lot more impactful. And so I just made a little, I guess you could say, visual. These are some synonyms for boring. And you can look this up in a dictionary or a thesaurus if you want. Tedious, dull, stuck in a rut, unambitious, dead, unimaginative, lacking in effort, unstimulating, tiring, passionless, unemotional, stiff, dreary, mind numbing, stagnant, routine, uninvolved, apathetic, disinterested. Now, I don't know about you, but if that described my relationship, I would really think that I was not in a very good relationship. I would think that we needed to work on this. And if my partner disagreed with me and didn't want to do anything for this relationship and wanted me to stay in this dead, lifeless, lacking effort relationship where we're stuck in a rut and we have no goals as a couple, or at least I have goals, but he won't, join me in these goals, then I would think definitely about maybe this is not the place I need to be. And let's go with antonyms for boring. Fun, varied, creative, growing, ambitious, lively, intentional, purposeful, stimulating, refreshing, passionate, inspiring, flexible, exciting, intriguing, fresh, active, involved, empathetic, interested. Now that sounds like the kind of relationship that would actually make you a better person, make you add to your happiness, add to your joy, make you feel like this is where I want to be. So if you think that people are going to stay where there's no growth, there's no goals, there's no change, there's no love, there's no passion, I don't know that that's going to happen in all cases. May you walk in